The feature that sold you on your van? In 30 days, you won't care about it. The thing you skipped on the spec sheet? That's what's going to define every single day you live in it. If you're researching a Winnebago Solus, a Storyteller Overland Mode, a Sprinter 170 build, or any European conversion in 2026, this is the video that saves you from a decision you'll be explaining to yourself for years. Your brain during the research phase is not on your side. It's optimizing for excitement. Excitement doesn't correlate with livability. In the next 12 minutes, what buyers obsess over that becomes invisible after a month. What they ignored that ends up running their entire life on the road. Real numbers, honest comparisons. In one story, I think about every time someone asks me which van to get. No fluff. Let's go. Section 1. Showroom brain versus road brain. There's a psychological concept called hedonic adaptation. It means this: beautiful things stop registering as beautiful very fast. Your brain normalizes them and moves on. The cedar ceiling that made you gasp in the dealer lot? After 30 days, it's just the ceiling. What you feel every morning, every meal, every cold night are the functional things. Ergonomics, workflow, temperature at 6 a.m., whether your back hurts, whether you can find your keys without waking anyone. Showroom brain buys the cedar ceiling. Road brain wishes someone had asked about the insulation behind it. Every serious converter in this market, Winnebago, Airstream, Heimer, Detlefs, has spent serious money understanding how to trigger your showroom brain. The lighting, the staging, the lifestyle photography. It's design optimized for the moment of sale, not from month 4. Your job is to think past it. Here's how. Section 2. The features that sell vans, then disappear. Solar wattage. Buyers spend weeks on this. Forums, spreadsheets, 15 comparison videos. Solar matters, but raw panel output is the wrong number to chase. Battery capacity and consumption habits matter more, always. A van with 600 watts of solar and 100 amp hours of lithium is worse than a van with 300 watts and 300 amp hours. The panels can't charge what isn't there. In January in the Pacific Northwest, Scotland, or the German Alps, those panels produce maybe 40% of their rated capacity anyway. Stop asking how many watts. Ask this: how many nights can this van run the heater in the fridge with zero sun? If your dealer can't answer with a specific number, they're selling you summer performance at full-time prices. Pop top versus high roof. Headroom stops being a feature you appreciate and becomes a baseline you either have or you don't. You cannot feel grateful for standing up straight. You absolutely feel the neck pain from not doing it 3 times a day for 6 months. For anyone over 50, this is not a preference, it's a requirement. In North America, the Ford Transit high roof and Mercedes Sprinter 170 dominate the full-time market for exactly this reason. The Ram ProMaster Whittier gives you more interior width at a lower entry price, and its long-term reliability data and rural parts availability are measurably worse. You might save $8,000 buying in. You could spend $4,000 chasing that decision in a town with 1 mechanic and a 3-week parts wait. In Europe, the VW Grand California and Fiat Ducato-based conversions thread the needle between interior height and the maneuverability you need in a Provençal village or on a single-track Welsh mountain road. The aesthetic kitchen. Marble contact paper. Induction cooktop because it photographs clean. Built-in espresso machine. After 30 days of real cooking, you want 1 deep sink, a 2-burner propane or diesel cooktop that lights reliably at altitude and in cold, and counter space to prep a meal without your elbow hitting a cabinet. Induction is shore power cooking with a lifestyle aesthetic on top. Propane isn't as sleek. It works at 4 a.m. in the Rockies when you need coffee before a cold front moves in. Know which version of van life you're actually buying for before you hand over the money. Section 4. The story I keep coming back to. I spoke with a couple in Arizona 2 years ago. They'd bought a $158,000 professional conversion, custom lighting, hand-laid tile backsplash, a folding dining table that became a full workspace. They showed me photos like proud parents, genuinely beautiful.
By month 3, they were sleeping with rolled towels pressed along the door seams every night. Nobody had vapor-sealed the walls behind that interior paneling. Condensation was building inside the wall cavities. Moisture was getting into the cabinetry. The tile backsplash, the one in every photo, had started lifting at the corners. $11,000 in remediation. And they told me, almost word for word, we never asked about insulation. We assumed a $158,000 van had it figured out. The builder optimized for the sale. Don't let that be your story. What I'm covering next has cost buyers 5 figures. Most never saw it coming. Section 5. What nobody looks at that runs everything. The chassis maintenance ecosystem. Before you commit, can you get this chassis serviced within 50 miles of where you actually plan to travel? Not where you live now, where you're going. Service networks are boring. Breakdowns aren't. Ford Transit wins North America on service reach. Fiat Ducato wins Europe. That's not brand preference, that's infrastructure reality. A boutique Sprinter conversion might be the most beautiful van you've ever seen. If you're touring rural Portugal or looping through Wyoming, Mercedes dealer density matters in a way that doesn't appear on any spec sheet. Thermal efficiency. Spray foam versus thinsulate versus recycled denim are not aesthetic choices. They have measurable, real-world impacts on your comfort and energy budget. A well-insulated van running a Webasto or Espar diesel heater at medium output is a fundamentally different vehicle than a poorly insulated van running the same heater on maximum just to stay livable. Over a full year of full-time travel, that gap runs to $1,500 or more in fuel and battery wear, conservatively. Ask for the R value of the insulation package. If you get a blank look or a vague answer about premium materials, you've just learned everything you need to know about how that build was designed. Water system accessibility. Physical test. Without removing your bed platform or disassembling your kitchen, can you access both your fresh water tank and your gray water system with your hands, in the dark if needed? You will need to clean those tanks, winterize them, troubleshoot a slow drain at 9 p.m. with dinner half-cooked. 50 liters of fresh water sounds generous in a showroom. 2 adults cooking real meals and taking real showers off-grid will correct that assumption fast. 80 to 100 liters is the honest full-time baseline for 2 people. Anything less is a compromise being sold as a feature. The next section will upset some people. I'm fine with that, because the math doesn't care about feelings.
Section 6. The DIY truth nobody says out loud.
The build-it-yourself-and-save-money advice flooding van life content is leading a meaningful percentage of first-time buyers into decisions they are not equipped to make. For mechanically competent people with real skills, time, professional-grade knowledge of DC electrical systems, and access to proper guidance, DIY can be right. I mean that. For everyone else, here's the actual math. A first-time DIY build at weekend pace is an 18 months project minimum. You have no van during that time. Components sourced retail cost more than what professional converters buy wholesale. If your electrical system has a fault, and first-time builders experience this at significantly higher rates than professionals, you're dealing with fire risk, voided insurance, and a potential total loss. The $15,000 you saved, according to a thumbnail, evaporates when you price a licensed electrician to certify your 12-volt system, a structural check on your roof penetrations, and the depreciation hit of selling an amateur build versus a professional conversion. That's not an opinion, that's arithmetic. For retirees on a fixed income or families with a departure date, a quality used professional conversion is a better 5-year financial decision than starting from scratch on optimism and weekend tutorials. Full stop. Section 7. Who should buy what? Retirees and couples doing 6+ months annually. Buy for reliability, not adventure spec. High roof Sprinter or transit-based professional build. Fixed bed, diesel heating. Verified service history. You were driving to Sedona, then Asheville, then the Oregon coast. Buy the van that does that beautifully for a decade, not the one that looks like it could do more. Families with kids under 12. Pop-top vans and compact builds are a couple's vehicle being marketed to families. 2 adults and 2 children in a soulless pocket or standard transporter conversion for more than 10 days is a patience experiment, not a family holiday. Look at Ford Transit 350 extended builds in North America, the Heimer Grand Canyon S or the Adria Twin Supreme in Europe. Interior volume is not a luxury for families, it's the functional baseline. First-time full-timers. Rent before you buy. Not a weekend, 3 weeks minimum. Sleep in it, cook real meals, deal with the tanks, drive it in rain. If you come back and still want this life, you're buying with honest information instead of romantic projection. If you back out, you just avoided a $60,000 mistake and learned something true about yourself. Weekend buyers with a permanent home base. You have the most freedom here because reliability pressure is lower.
A storyteller mode or a dedicated off-road build makes genuine sense for your use case in a way it simply doesn't for someone living in a van full-time with no backup plan. This is the one buyer profile where aesthetics can legitimately move up the priority list. Here's what I actually think. The campervan industry, converters, dealers, content creators, all of it, profits from selling the dream before the details. And the dream is real. I believe in what this life offers when you get the decision right. But the dream is sustained entirely by boring decisions made before you ever leave the driveway. The best van buyers I've encountered approach this purchase the way a pilot chooses an aircraft: service records, failure modes, an honest assessment of their own skill level, not aesthetics. Not brand identity, not the lifestyle they wanted to project to strangers on the internet. In 2026, there are more options in this market than at any point in history. More price points, more builders, more configurations. That's a genuine opportunity, and it's also more surface area to make the wrong call for your specific situation. Here's the line I'll leave you with. A van should solve your life, not perform it. Buy accordingly. One question, and I want your real answer in the comments. What's the one feature you were convinced you needed before you started researching that you now think is completely overrated? That thread is going to be more useful to new buyers than any spec sheet on the market. I'll be in the comments.